Hello, good morning, and welcome to this special session of MAPIC Digital. I'm Courtney FINGAR, Editor-in-Chief of Investment Monitor, and I'm really pleased to be leading this session, which, as you will see from the nameplates, involves three MDs of three really important players in this space. Now, we're going to talk about, of course, the retail sector, what's going on. I think it's no surprise to anyone that things are extremely challenging in the industry, so we don't really need to harp onto that too much. Instead, we'll talk about what's coming next. Obviously, a shakeup is on the horizon. There's an urgent need to adapt to new ways of living, new ways of working, and of course, new ways of shopping. Some changes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic may never be undone, but of course something new will emerge, potentially even a healthier, more enduring market. But let's try to break it all down. I'm really delighted by the lineup of speakers that we have. Let me introduce them very quickly to you. They are Joanna Fisher, Managing Director for Center Management and the designated CEO of Marketplaces for ECE. Anne-Sophie SANCERRE, Managing Director of Retail for France for UNIBAIL, RODAMCO, WESTFIELD, and Cristina Santos, Managing Director for Property Management in Spain and Portugal for SANCERRE. Welcome to all of you. I know you're extremely busy, especially at this particular moment in time, so we appreciate you joining us. I would like to say to our audience that we would like to hear from you. There is a function to submit questions, so I would really encourage you to do that and make the most of the fact that we have these three very important women here with us. Maybe just to set the scene, if I could ask each of you in turn to tell us a little bit about how your particular companies are reacting to the crisis, and what do you think is needed to adapt to the changes brought on by the pandemic. And I'll start first with Joanna.
Hi, Courtney. Thank you so much. So the challenging time what we have now are, of course, mostly focusing the very strict and very intensive communication between investors and retailers, what we are doing already from the beginning of the year. And the first phase of COVID-19 in Europe was really challenging all of us because nobody knew what happened and how to deal with all those problems what we faced. What we've learned now for the second wave, what we have now, it's really very strong communication, keep calm and focus on collaboration with the tenants. So the partnership between tenants and investors is the most important thing to make deals, to lead talks and to find solution for the future, but especially for this and for next year. So our target is at the moment, of course, to get with the retailers solutions which are good for them, but also, of course, good for the investors, and to make the business secure for the next months. Especially, we don't know what will happen until the next time, until Easter next year. So therefore, a lot of things what we have to manage. But of course, we are also focusing on new concept because we will have a lot of bankruptcies in the retail area, and we have to face also this issue. Therefore, we are talking with a lot of new retailers which come up in the market, not that many, but still there are some there, especially in the leisure branch, what we focus in Germany. And therefore, we are, of course, searching for that to fill the spaces what we have to fill in the shopping center. So, however, also with the retail branch, what we have to manage is the development of omni-channeling, because that's what we see. It's the closely communication with the customers what we have to manage. And our program with the tenants digital mall, what we developed already 2 years ago, it's now really growing. And the partnership with the retailers there to get online and offline together, it's really a demanding one. And therefore, we are really focusing on that to work with the retailers to bring more shops to the digital world. They were the 3 points what I would like to mention very quickly at this moment, just to pointed out.
And just a very quick follow-up question. I mean, the shift to digital has got to happen, and it's got to happen quite urgently. How prepared are retailers in your view?
Oh, they are very good prepared retailers, but also a lot of them have a huge challenges what they are facing. So what we see is the structure of the retail. All those IT systems would have to be merged from online and offline. And therefore, I'm very happy about this, that especially in German market, we have a lot of programs. They support the retailers with Google and all those retail institutions and organizations. So therefore, this is really a huge challenge, but the retailers, they are focusing on this now more than in the past, what I have to say. So the COVID-19 or the pandemic crisis is working like an accelerator for this. So it makes it everything faster. And therefore, the business in the digital world is growing much.
Thank you very much. And Cristina, what are you seeing and how is your company adapting?
So good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. First of all, as Joanna said, on the first wave, our first worry was to support tenants to be online. So not especially the ones that were not prepared for that, which are the small ones and are very important for us, for them to survive, because they are very important for the diversification of the mix. So our worries were to support them to be online. So we launched a marketplace with Dot, which is a Portuguese company, and in a record time and without fees, we put lots of tenants to able to continue to sell online. All the drive-in situations and curbside pickups initiatives were all implemented. And so we continue to maintain shopping centers alive. On the reopen, it was good to see that people returned to shopping centers. So I think all shopping center industry made a good job in keeping shopping centers as safe places and guaranteeing that to clients. And so each month we saw that we were recovering in traffic and sales. Of course, not the same for all activities and not the same scenario for all the shopping centers. Shopping centers more dependent on workers or tourism were the ones that suffered more than the ones that were in residential areas. So there is really some learnings from that. And we continue to work with tenants in order to recover that. Then it comes the second wave, which we thought is much tougher than the first wave. So we know now that we are living a very disruptive event, and we know that COVID-19 didn't bring any new trends, at least that I identified, but speed up all the trends. Okay, and so the society digitalization, how the mobility and urbanization, how we organize ourselves, and the changing consumer habits, all of them were speed up. And if we want to survive, we have to be at level of corresponding to these new demands in a very short term. Okay, and that's what we are concentrated with. This second wave, we are of course worried in saving Christmas sales for tenants, which, as you know, is one of the most important part of the year. So we launch projects as concierge, which you can do your purchase online, and then we deliver at your home. Of course, besides drive-in and curbside pickups. And we are launching online gift cards with delivery at home, so you can receive the gift card to give to your loved ones in a special package, and you have the flexibility then to use it in 1 year time. So this is all the initiatives beside the anticipation of Christmas selling, which we talk with all the players in order to extend the period for the exchange till January, till the end of January next year, in order for people to do their purchasing in a very calm and organized way. This is the short-term measures, and then we are working on the long-term measures in order to be able to respond to these changing in habits and to these new trends.
Do you think enough of the players in the space can survive the short term and in order to then get to the long term to make these changes? Because I guess having just barely come through the first wave, a second wave is pretty debilitating.
Yes, it is. It is for sure. We are going to assist. We are already assisting some bankruptcies. It will be impossible to save everyone. So like every big crisis, as it was the subprime crisis some years ago, I have to say that, as you know, in almost a decade, we have to face two huge crises. And that is very tough. So there was still retailers recovering from the first one when they are being hit for the second one. And for sure, some will not survive. That is clear. Some companies will not survive. Some retailers will not survive because it is impossible with an event of this so tough as this one to save everybody, as said. So that will be the important phase of reconstructions that we'll have ahead. It will be very important, investors and owners and tenants, to be aligned and to work on the same direction. Okay, there are companies, there are operations, there are activities that we have to save and that are being hit very hard, as restaurants, cinemas, travel agencies. So we cannot live in the future without these activities. We know for sure that shopping centers will remain. I have no doubt about it. We know that people more than shopping, because shopping will be in a click on a line. So it's not to buy products that people want to do. What people want is a good experience and have a good experience on the shopping center. So in that sense, all the leisure, all the restaurants, all the food court areas, all the things different that we could do will be crucial. We are going to assist to adjustments of brick and mortar of some chains. Once again, speeding up the trends that we already assisting. Okay, we're already assisting of changes in Inditex group of closing some shops and maintaining others as flagship, and that was dictating some changes in the sector. And we are going to assist of a speed up of all of this. And of course, this will be tough for the ones that are weaker or are in a weaker position, either retailers or shopping centers.
Thank you. I think this issue of the leisure and the kind of surrounding services is something we're going to return to. And I know that MAPIC itself has expanded its, talks this year to look at more than just retail, because it all fits together. I just remind the audience, we have a great group of people I see from the numbers here. Please ask us some questions if you like. I'll turn now to Anne-Sophie, if you can tell us, what you're seeing and map out for us the path forward as you believe.
Yes, hello everybody. So looking at post reopening after the first COVID crisis, we saw a drop in footfall, but the recovery was very, very encouraging, which reinforced our conviction that people are looking for places to meet, to experience, to be together. So even if we were seeing this crisis, thanks to all the measures that we implemented on the sanitary side and this willingness of the people to meet back together, we saw a really strong recovery in footfall and in sales, making really us think that we were on the right side, we're thinking that the experience of the clients will be what they are really looking for. That's on the client side. On the retailer side, we were, and I'm totally in line with what was said before, I thought that we found a greater solidarity between retailers and landlords. Landlords trying to help as much as possible retailers on the...
Oh, I think we might have lost her. Oh dear. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, I think Anne-Sophie was suffering some connection problems. There you are.
Okay, I think I'll call the number. It will be easier because otherwise, sorry about that.
No problem. I'll pose a question while you get reconnected. If you can mute and dial in, then I'll carry on with the discussion and we'll have you join us. Meanwhile, the questions come in from the audience, so I will pose that. Whether Cristina or Joanna or both would like to answer. The question is, when will investors start reevaluating the value of their objects, or I guess their assets or investments?
So the valuation of the assets is a long-term perspective. So if there are very short-term helps for the retailers, this has to be deducted to the budget. So therefore, I think we will have a look next year at the valuation of the assets. The period, I will say something about spring, and we will see how the situation is. So therefore, because of the long-term perspective, it's I think not necessary to do it at the moment because nobody knows how it develop in the next months.
Thank you,
Yes.
Cristina.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with Joanna. And the valuations will depend on the evolution of the pandemic, on a vaccine, on better treatment, and all this involves. I think next 2 to 3 months are crucial to know if this is going to be worse or better. We hope for the better, of course, but we have to be very cautious on that.
Another question is how do you help retailers and stores benefit from the digital channel? Something we've touched on already in the conversation, but what in practical terms can you do?
Okay, I can just describe the ECE way. So we started to develop our digital project in 2016 and started to give a help to the retailers to digitalize their assortment. Mm-hmm. So it means you have to bring product to the digital world to make them visible. And this is what we do with our platform. And because we are very close, of course, to our sister companies with the Otto Group, which is the second platform in Germany, but also well known around the world. We are in the collaboration with them and try to help the retailers already to get a really good reach of customers in the digital world, to place their products not just on our own platform, but also on Otto, mm-hmm. And try to connect them to Google and to eBay. So the most important point in this to get the possibility to ship from store. So to make the transaction really real, and that the retailer can use both the online websites, what they have, but also the offline world. It means ship from store in an analog way.
Mm-hmm. And I think a related question, and you can pick up on that, or Cristina can weigh in, which is a question of whether all of the e-commerce platforms that are developed during COVID will last after COVID. I mean, to what extent would people maybe treat them as a temporary fix? And do you think long-term this e-commerce shift will impact negatively on the mall shopping mall business? Maybe Cristina, do you want to take that at the start?
Yes, let's see. The platform that we work with in Portugal, which is DOT, is a platform that already exists. Mm-hmm. So what we speed up was putting the tenants on that platform and give them 3 months free of fees in order for them to be capable to not be worried on that side. And then they will stay with the platform and negotiate new contracts if they were interested with, which happened. So it was not a short-term measure only for that 3 months, besides the websites and other alternatives, as Joanna mentioned. So in terms of the internet sales were already increasing in Portugal and Spain, although which are the markets that are under my supervision, although in very low levels comparing with other markets. So there was an increase on that. As said, it was already a trend. So it was, COVID was like a catalyst for the speed up of this this trend. Internet is going to stay, and the measures online, offline, and all this new living as this society digitalization, we will have to live with. Okay, so we don't think that online is a threat for the shopping centers, because online has to some challenges, is a very expensive channel. Last mile is not easy. So retailers rely a lot on their shops, on shopping centers, in order to provide the merchandising time to the clients. And so we have to live together, and we can live together and in a win-win relationship. And that's what we work on this.
Thank you. And Anne-Sophie, I want to come back to you if we've got you on. It looks like your mic is muted, but I want to hear from you if you managed to get back reconnected with us. Sadly not. Well, hopefully she can weigh in at least at the end. There is a question, and it is something that Cristina, you've touched on regarding other services, ancillary services around retail, such as leisure. So the question is, what new retail or leisure categories or services do you see emerging within shopping centers as a result of the impact of COVID?
I think that everything that has to do with experiences, and that increase the experiences, like augmented reality, besides the leisure that we already have, like cinemas, like bowlings, like food court, three generation food courts. Diversity on that is extremely important, and we have to increase all the digital experiences, flexibility to our customers.
Thank you. And Joanna, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
What I see are the trends, what we know already from the last months, and Cristina mentioned that VR, AR, all these things, because this is very easy to create concept on a small spaces with this kind of technology. But also what we see are branches like esports or gaming coming up. And this is a huge possibility also for shopping center to make this trend, to get this trend connected to a really huge mass of people in the shopping center. And this is something what we are working on at the moment.
Thank you. And there's something I want to ask before we'll wrap up, and that is, we have an all-female panel, which is great, kind of refreshing to see. I know that retail is perhaps considered an industry where there are more women power players than perhaps typical real estate, which is often kind of male dominated. As very, high level, high profile leaders, female leaders in the space, what would be your advice for other women coming up the kind of chain in the retail industry? Joanna, go first.
From my perspective, it's very important. Do not have so many doubts on yourself, and be really focused on that, what you want to reach, and to be a woman. Because you will get so many advices about this, how you should behave, how you should be. And in the end of the day, a woman has emotions, and this is really okay to have them. Of course, everybody has to learn kind of behavior and networking, but still you have to stay a woman and act as a one. And be brave, focus on your own targets, and feel your emotions. This is what I would say for every woman who wants to be a leader.
Thank you very much. And I think we have Anne-Sophie back, at least in an audio.
Sorry.
Welcome back. Is there anything that, as we have about 5 minutes left, but really keen to hear your views. If there's anything in your opening comments you didn't get around to, or you'd like to reflect on in terms of, as the industry tries to shift from bricks and mortar to gig and mortar, how can we do that? And any really important thoughts you want to share with us?
Yeah, I think that the experience of the customer will be now once before coming to the shopping center, whilst they'll be in the shopping center, and after leaving the shopping center. And to be able to do that and to reconnect with the customers, be very much linked to them, the digitalization of our shopping centers and of the stores will be key. So really it's about reshuffling the resources that we have from brick and mortar to click and mortar, helping the retailers to make that switch. For instance, we are putting in place some drive, some curbside, the click and collect everywhere, the opportunity to book an appointment with the retailers, with the restaurants, to book a parking place so that the client doesn't waste time. All these little aspects that are fully helped by the digitalization that will enhance the customer journey of our clients, to give them an even better experience and to leave more space for the retailer to enable to meet their clients and to forecast who they are with their clients, and make the clients participate to the brand and not only buy products of the brand. The clients, they want now to do, they want to make, they don't just want to buy some products. So that will be really key, help our retailers on that side and be some kind of service platform for our retailers.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it's a chance to reconnect with customers in a different way? And then I'd like to tack on a question that we got from the audience, which is how successful is the cooperation of Zalando and URW? Can you share about that? And maybe if you can answer that one first, and then maybe tell us how you can better reconnect with customers going forward.
The cooperation with what?
There's a question that says, how successful is the cooperation of Zalando and URW?
This is specifically in Germany, and it's going on very well, which means that you need to find the right partners and you need to be much more open. It's not about being retailers on one side, landlords on one side, or more e-commerce company on the other side. It's really being able to build partnerships, joint ventures with the best actors of the industry to give the best service and the best experience to customers.
Mm-hmm. Thanks very much. We've got only 2-3 minutes left. It's one more question I'll put, and I'll maybe ask Cristina, which is, how will co-working fit into the shopping mall ecosystem?
We have already co-works in shopping mall. Besides, in our food courts, we promote a lot that they are used to work, because we think that flexibility that people want nowadays, not having a fixed office, so they work from home or from the shopping center or whatever. So we really believe on that. We have two specific co-working places in our shopping centers, which we think that are very interesting client and very interesting for the traffic and footfall of the shopping centers. So it's something that we bet, and we see it's a trend that was sped up with this COVID pandemic, is the homework and all the flexibility on working everywhere. So we want to be a part of that.
Thank you very much. And it's for sure that everything, will change, and some of these changes can be healthy. We might end up with a more holistic environment that would support leisure and retail and co-working and all of these things. I suppose, it's maybe too soon. We're still mid-COVID really to know the real trends and the real changes, but we can guess from the early signs, and it's really interesting and useful to hear the insights and experiences of of such important players in the market as yourself. So I want to say thank you very much to the three of you for taking the time. Anne-Sophie, I'm sorry we didn't get to hear more from you, but thank you for persevering against the technical challenges. We're really delighted you were able to come back in. And thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the MAPIC Digital show, and we hope to see you at a future gathering, either virtually or in person. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much to all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.